everybody, Tori here. Welcome to my December daily video series. Today I'm working on the second day of December, and just before I dive into that, those of you who joined me yesterday for my live video where I did December 1st will have noticed that I found the number 1. It actually got stuck in with my enamel dots. After the live video was over, I searched everywhere for it, and I finally found it, and I'm so glad because I was able to stick that on. And for everybody else who was worried about it, yes, I did find it, and I know some of you guys went back and watched the video and found it for me, so I really appreciate that. So today I'm going to work on day 2, but before I do that, I was looking through my journaling cards for some things that I wanted to use for day 2, and I'll get to that in just a second. But while I was looking through, I found this journaling card that says Advent on it, and I just like how it kind of defines the word Advent, and since I used Advent here, I thought it would be kind of fun to include this card in this day. And I didn't really like the green on the back just because I was going with this monochromatic look. So I decided to grab out another card, and I grabbed out this one from my stash, which just said Daily Routine. And just so you know, they didn't have splatters on them. I decided to add the splatters afterwards because I wanted it to kind of go with this day where I had splatters here and some splatters there. So I just added some splatters, and then after it dried, I'm here, that's where I am right now, and I thought I would just do that on camera so you guys can kind of see how I do it. What I think I'm going to do is just add some score tape to the back of these cards, and then I can adhere them together and punch some holes. Now, often I will have people message me and ask me what type of score tape I use, and it's literally called score tape. It's called Sukwang score tape, and I get it at my local scrapbook store, and I honestly don't know where she gets it from, but I did want to say that I just noticed that on the Memory Lane scrapbook website, which is one of the design teams that I'm on, so just keep that in mind. She does have score tape on her website, so if anybody is looking for score tape and can't find a brand that they like, definitely check out Memory Lane Scrapbooks store, and I'll leave a link for that below for score tape, because she has, I think it's the exact same brand, or from the picture it looks like the same brand, so I don't know, maybe it is. Anyway, so I've stuck those two together, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use my hole punch to punch a couple of holes in it, and I think I'm going to stick that here, down here in line with that, and then you can kind of flip it over. Maybe I'll stick it in the middle. Okay, I'm going to stick it in the middle of these, and I'm just going to punch it. And by the way, if anybody's wondering, I did use Heidi Swapp Color Shine Black Velvet for the black dots, and I really like this actual black ink because it kind of has like a little bit of a shimmer to it. I don't know, it's kind of fun. I'll just punch this. There we go. Easy peasy. And then it can just go right into the book, just like so. I like that, because then it's kind of got the word defined Advent. I got some black ink smushed on there because I was playing with the bottle, but I think it's okay. And then it just says Advent, and then the other side says Daily Routine. And then that goes with what I was saying in my journaling here, which I had added after the live video. So I love that. So for today, I'm going to do December 2nd. I'll just flip this over to show you what I have. So I have 3 photos that I wanted to use. On December 2nd, I went to a cookie exchange at my friend Erin's house. So basically, if you don't know what a cookie exchange is, you figure out how many people are coming, and then you bake cookies for that many people. So there were 8 of us, so I baked 8 dozen cookies, and then everybody else baked 8 dozen cookies, and then you go and you swap, so then you have 8 dozen cookies, but they're all different kinds, which is it's just kind of fun. Anyway, so those are the 3 photos that I wanted to use for today, and I want to stick one of them, I think, on the back of there, and then the other 2 I might stick like this. And I just went through my journaling cards to see what I had and pulled out some of the ones that I really liked. While I was searching, I found this one that is a 4x6 journaling card that just says Deck the Halls with a little bit of holly or whatever. And I just really love how clean that is. So then after I picked out that card, I was like, I wonder what else I have that could match. So then I kind of was just looking through my stash, and I found this card, which has this red polka dot, and it just coordinates really well. And then I found this journaling card, is 3x4, that has that same design on both sides, so I could use either one of those. And then I found this one, which I think these all come, I don't know. Okay. These ones definitely come from Ali Edwards, I believe. I'm not sure about this card. And so I figured, or the site Ali Edwards. So I figured what I could do is use these elements for these photos. And it's not necessarily like cookie related, but I just like the Be Jolly, the mistletoe, or the holly, I mean, and the Deck the Halls. And I like the color scheme of the red, especially since there's some like pops of red in all 3 of these photos. So, and a little bit of green in some of the photos too. So I just felt like it would coordinate really well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use those photos, use those journaling cards, and I'm going to stick you guys on fast forward for the rest of the video. And I will do a voiceover too, so you know what I'm doing. But I just thought I would pop in and say hi before I got started. So, without further ado, let us begin. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by grabbing a page protector that has 3x4s, and that's where I'm going to put some of my photos, and I'm going to trim down my photos to get started with my layout here. And I only have 3 photos for today, but I did want to include them like on the back of that insert from the day before, and then on a 3x4 page protector too. So I'm just going to trim them down. I had printed these with my Canon Selphy, so they're not true 3x4s, but that doesn't really bother me. I'll just back them with something and it'll be totally fine. And then this Deck the Halls card was a 4x6 card, but I really wanted it as a 3x4. So I'm also going to just trim that down now with the Deck the Halls part in the middle of the 3x4. And then I'm going to arrange that on my card here. So I play around a little bit trying to decide where I want things to go, and you'll see me go back and forth throughout the video, but I eventually land on this right here. I think that's where I end up with the cookie photo in the top left and the hot chocolate in the bottom right, and then the messy kitchen on the other side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that 4x6 card with the red polka dots to cover up the back of the card from the day before, and then I'm going to stick my photo on there. And I had that little circle that said Be Jolly, and it matched the mistletoe. Is it mistletoe or holly? I think it's holly that I was using on the other side of the spread. So I decided to just cut it out, and I'm going to layer it on top of my photo there. And then one of the things that I wanted to try and include with this layout was some recipe cards where I include the recipes of my cookies and a couple of the cookies at the Cookie Exchange that I really enjoyed. So I'm going to just write those out on a couple of recipe cards, and I got these recipe cards just from a pack at the dollar store. They were like Christmas recipe cards, and I thought they would just be kind of cute, and I'm going to actually create a pocket for those. And I'm just playing around trying to figure out what journaling cards I want to back my photos on. And I end up going with a gray polka dot one underneath the cookies. And then I use the holly one underneath the hot chocolate. And then I also grabbed out the Holly Jolly 3x4 card, which actually came from the Home for the Holidays collection that I designed from Wild Whisper. And actually the kind of fun thing about that is that the Holly Jolly there is in my own handwriting, which is just so cool. It's kind of fun to use things that I created in my album, and I'm actually really excited to be seeing how other people are using the Home for the Holidays collection for Wild Whisper that I designed. It's really fun. It's like one of the highlights of my year. Okay, so I'm going to start by adhering those two photos down using the score tape, and I'm just kind of centering those just so that they have a little bit of a border on them and that they're a true 3x4 then. And then I'm just trying to figure out how I want to stick those recipe cards in there. And I ended up deciding to kind of stick them in the side instead of on the top. So I grabbed a circle punch and I just punched out a half circle. That way when the recipe cards are in there, you'll be able to see them in there. I was afraid that if I just kind of created like a pocket with the two journaling cards and there wasn't any way for you to see them in there, that you might not realize they were in there. So the half circle kind of creates that illusion. So then what I'm doing is using the score tape around the other three sides of the pocket, and I just measured where I needed the score tape to go so that the journaling cards would fit perfectly and not fall too far in or anything like that. And then I'm going to adhere those two cards together, and then those recipe cards will go inside that little pocket there. With the recipe for the cookies that I created, and I also have the recipe for a couple of the other cookies too, my favorite ones. I asked the bakers for the recipes. So once I adhered those two together, I re-punched the holes, and I realized that I didn't stick it down perfectly, so I just trimmed it down a little bit, and then those recipe cards can go in there. So then what I'm going to do is just decide how I want the front of that to go with the photo of all my baking. This photo was actually taken the night before, so it wasn't taken on the 2nd, it was taken on the 1st. But it's a great way to kind of show the before the cookies looked pretty, basically, idea. And I felt like it needed a border, so I used some white cardstock and I adhered that down. And then I'm going to adhere that and add the little circle on the top corner there. And I feel like it just helps tie it into what is going on the right hand side of the page. So I felt like it needed a little something else. That circle kind of felt a little random in there, so I was looking for another embellishment or something like that. And I didn't end up using one of those Oh What Fun brads, but I decided to pull out my flare and rubber pieces, and I found a flare that said Yum, and I also found like a plasticky resin thing, poly. I think that was from last year's Freckled Fawn Christmas kit, and I can add that too, and I'll just hot glue gun that and the Yum down, and it kind of creates this cute little set of 3 pieces. And then I'm also trying to decide where to add my number 2 for today. So I played around with that a little while, and I had that half circle that I had punched out from the journaling card for the recipe folder. And I thought, oh, maybe I can use that on the right-hand side to bring some of that polka dot over. So I am going to use it on the bottom of that Deck the Halls card. And then I realized that on the Felicity Jane word stickers, there was one that said Cookies for Santa and another one that said Gift Exchange. And I realized that if I kind of cut it up and MacGyver it a little bit, I could make one that says Cookie Exchange, which is exactly what I was doing on the 2nd. And so I cut off the S for Santa on the Cookies for Santa, and I cut off the gifts for the Gift Exchange, and then I just made Cookie Exchange, and I stuck that down with the 2. And I felt like there needed to be a little more wood veneer somewhere else on the layout because the 2 kind of stuck out too much. So I grabbed a little tiny wood veneer tree from Felicity Jane and added that above the Holly Jolly. And now I'm just going to finish off my little layout here with a couple of enamel dots and gems and things like that. So I added 3 next to the 2, and then I added some over on the other recipe card too. And I actually I used 3 little gems to create like the berries on the holly there, which I just thought would be really cute. And then I'm going to add my journaling on that Deck the Halls card. And I had this pen that I really wanted to use, but it was like leaking everywhere. So that's why I have like a napkin there to try to seep it up, but it just kept leaking and leaking, and then it like runs out of ink. Oh, not a good day. But anyways, I was just writing that it was a gift exchange, and then I had to switch pens, and I ended up throwing that one out because it was leaking everywhere. And so the other pen is like slightly not as thick, but oh, and then I also got ink all over it. So that's what you saw there, but in the end it worked out fine. And I think what I've realized over time is that like when I'm making these layouts, I just need to do them and not like get all stressed out about them, and it'll be fine. So I'm going to go back and add the recipes later to the cards because I don't want to do that on screen. And that's pretty much it for me today. I hope you guys enjoyed today's layout and that you will come back to my channel tomorrow for another December Daily related video. So have a lovely day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Oh, don't forget to subscribe. Bye!